see you again. Today I have another great story for us to read. So sit down, get comfy, snuggle up, and let's get started. Today's story is Mr. Tuggle's Troubles. On Monday morning, Mr. Tuggle woke up to a bright spring day.
After breakfast, he put on his shirt and tie, he put on his pants and belt, and he put on his shoes and socks. Now where is my hat? He asked himself. He looked there, he looked here, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Fiddlesticks! Maybe I should have put them on the shelf last night. Oh well, who needs a hat anyway? So he picked up his umbrella and rode to work without a hat. At noon, Mr. Tuggle said to himself, "It's such a lovely day. I think I'll eat my lunch outside." That's when the trouble began. A pigeon flew over his head. Splat! The bird made a mess smack dab in Mr. Tuggle's hair. "Jumpin' jelly beans!" cried Mr. Tuggle. "I guess I do need a hat," he says. In his office, he made a hat out of the morning newspaper. He put the newspaper hat on his head and tied it with a string. "Not bad," he said. Later he wore the newspaper hat home. On Tuesday morning, Mr. Tuggle put on his shirt and tie. He put on his pants and belt. "Well, where in the world are my shoes?" he asked himself. He looked here, he looked there, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Fiddlesticks! Maybe I should have left them by the door last night. Oh well, who needs shoes anyway? So he put on his newspaper hat and picked up his umbrella, and he rode to work in his bare feet. People shoved and pushed in the office elevator. That's when the trouble began. Someone stepped on Mr. Tuggle's toes. "Jumpin' jelly beans!" he cried. "I guess I do need shoes," he said. He found 2 cardboard boxes in his office closet and tied them to his feet. "Not bad," he said. Later he wore the box shoes home. On Wednesday morning, Mr. Tuggle put on his pants and belt. "Goodness, where is my shirt?" he asked himself. He looked here, he looked there, but he couldn't find them anywhere. Fiddlesticks! Maybe I should have hung them in the closet last night. Oh well, who needs a shirt anyway? So he put on his tie, he wore his box shoes and newspaper hat, and he picked up his umbrella and rode to work in his undershirt. After work, Mr. Tuggle said to himself, "I believe I need a breath of fresh air. A short walk should do the trick." That's when the trouble began. Bees darted back and forth. Buzz, buzz, buzz. They spotted the tattoo rose on Mr. Tuggle's chest. "Jumpin' jelly beans!" he cried. "I guess I do need a shirt," and he ran all the way back to his office. Mr. Tuggle took down his curtains. He tied one curtain to his chest and the other curtain to his back. "Not bad," he said. Later he wore the curtain shirt home. On Thursday morning, Mr. Tuggle put on his curtain shirt and tie. He put on his pants and belt. He put on his back shoes and newspaper hat. "Well, heavens to Betsy! Where's my umbrella?" he asked himself. He looked here, he looked there, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Fiddlesticks! Maybe I should have put it in the umbrella stand last night. Oh well, who needs an umbrella anyway? So he rode to work without one. After he'd eaten his lunch, Mr. Tuggle said, "I think I'll go to the park and feed the squirrels." That's when the trouble began. Plop, plop, plop. A light rain started to fall. Mr. Tuggle heard the drops hitting his newspaper hat. His pants and curtain shirt became damp and cold. His box shoes started to get wet. "Jumpin' jelly beans! I guess I do need an umbrella," he said, as he ran all the way to the office. Mr. Tuggle noticed a large picture hanging on the wall. He reached up and took it down. Later he carried the picture over his head as he walked in the rain to the bus stop. A crowd was waiting there in the front of the department store, so Mr. Tuggle waited with them. He looked at the reflection in the window. glass and could see everyone around him. What a silly man that one is, he thought. Then he looked again. Oh no, that's me. Mr. Tuggle laughed at himself. He was still laughing when he got on the bus. Everyone on the bus laughed with him. Soon Mr. Tuggle was home. Enough's enough. I must find my missing things, he said. He looked here, he looked there, he looked absolutely everywhere, until he found his hat, then his shoes, then his shirt, and finally his umbrella. I know. I'll put all my missing things where they belong, he said to himself. Then it will be easy to get dressed in the morning. When he woke up on Friday morning, Mr. Tuggles felt as cheerful as the sunshine peeking through his window blinds. He remembered his missing clothes weren't missing anymore. They were all exactly where they belonged. He sprang from bed and danced a little jig. He put on his shirt and tie. He put on his socks and shoes. Then he put on his hat, grabbed his umbrella, and headed out the door. Mr. Tuggle hummed a little tune and twirled his umbrella as he strutted to the bus stop. He smiled and said, I found all my missing clothes. Today should be a wonderful, no-trouble day.
The end. That was funny. Can you believe he forgot his pants? Oh, that poor Mr. Tuggle. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and if you loved this story, please be sure to hit subscribe and like, and come back again tomorrow to see more. And if there's any story that you really want to hear or that's your favorite, be sure to let me know, and I'll go and I'll try and find it for you. Until next time, keep reading!